I had this thought when I started playing this game, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. And it was about just how poorly optimized games are today. And this is not an example of that. This is actually an example of the opposite, even though by looking at this video it looks crappy, but I assure you that's because OBS is running in the background. I don't have like a separate capture card or anything like that. It's running on the same machine as this, and it's OBS that's dropping my frame rates by about 25 FPS and causing this horrible looking kind of stutter a little bit. It just looks choppy. But I assure you, when I run this game, like you can see, it's hard to see. It's very small. The Steam FPS counter in the top left corner right now, it says 55, 56, 59, 57 FPS. Normally I would be getting between 70 and 80 around here. And even in like the highest, heaviest areas where there's like really heavy crowds, like inside this mall, right? And let me get to a really densely populated area. Let me go upstairs here. You know, you got lots of people milling around here, all sorts of stuff going on. Even in areas like that, like right now I'm getting 49, 52, 51. I would be getting, I've never seen it drop below 66, 65 FPS when I'm running without OBS, and I'm just playing, I'm not recording anything. So this is one of the games that's an exception, and it's really sad that this is an exception and not the norm. This should be the norm, because we go in here, right, and this is maxed out. I'm running this maxed out at 4K. The video is not going to be in 4K, but I'm running this game at 4K. And everything is maxed out. Motion blur is turned off, but that's not for performance reasons. I hate motion blur. It's the first thing I turn off in any game. Very first thing I do when I get a game is I go into the options menu and turn motion blur off. I just hate it. And film grain, this game doesn't have film grain, but if it has film grain, that's the other thing I turn off. But as you can see, everything is maxed out, except I guess anti-aliasing. There's one more. I don't know what custom means though. I'm running TAA. You got FXAA, MLAA, TAA, and custom. Is that a higher setting? I don't know. I don't know what custom means. But TAA looks great on my. It's gonna look horrible in the video, but it's not gonna look as good as it. But as I'm playing this now, when I play it, it looks fantastic, right? So I don't know. I don't know if custom is a higher anti-alias setting, but regardless, I'm running this maxed out, and here's the thing. This is why this game is such a breath of fresh air. Look at that. No upscaling. No DLSS. No FSR. No XESS. No frame generation. Nothing. Just, I have a NVIDIA reflex on, but that's just for latency. That doesn't do anything for your frame rate. So, this game feels like a miracle that I'm able to run a modern game maxed out without upscaling, right? And this is on a powerful machine. I have an AMD Ryzen 5800 X3D and an NVIDIA RTX 4080. Not top of the line, but that is a high-end PC. The fact that the vast majority, almost all of them, of new games, like modern games, games that have released within the last few years, basically since upscaling's been around, I pretty much have to use upscale. on quite a few of them, unless I want to really, really turn down the graphical settings. I have to use upscaling. That's pathetic. How did we get here? I think we got here by devs being lazy and because they had the crutch to lean on in upscaling. I think devs got lazy in optimizing their games because it's like, screw it. We have upscaling. Upscaling will bail us out. They'll get the frame rates of upscaling. And it's like, it shouldn't be that way because there's always a cost for upscaling. It looks good when it's still, but when in motion, you don't really notice it unless you're looking for it, but there's ghosting. There's all sorts of issues with upscaling. Anybody that tells you that upscaled images, that upscaling looks as good as native is either blind or lying. It's not. There are issues. There's ghosting, any thin things like telephone wires and stuff look a little messed up. You don't really notice these things when the game's in motion and you're not looking for them, but they're there. Your brain notices subconsciously. They're there. So it's really nice breath of fresh air to be able to run a game maxed out with no upscaling. And so I don't get any of the ghosting and any of that issues. And the game looks beautiful. It runs great. This should be the norm, but it's not. It shouldn't be that way. So developers, get your shit together and start optimizing your games. You shouldn't have to rely on DLSS and FSR and XeSS to bail you out. Optimize your games. It should be a bonus. Upscaling should be a bonus. Frame generation should be a bonus. It should not be required. Get your shit together, developers.